Continuing right along with the Benz, I've been working on the brakes. I didn't film most of this because frankly it was like really difficult to do and film at the same time, so just did it and kind of show you a little synopsis afterwards. So I went around and bled the brakes at each wheel. That is the whopping amount of brake fluid that I got out. So not only was it very low on fluid, but it's nasty. It looks like some really dark tea or something. Pulled the master cylinder. I've got it dripping into this old soap container that I cut in half. Master cylinder was leaking pretty bad, obviously. You can tell by the lack of paint on practically all of the vacuum booster. The rear lines were almost dry. Just got a wee little bit of fluid out of them, so it's possible that I'll need to rebuild the rear brake calipers. Could be stuck if they've been dry for a long time. That'll just be something that I'll have to test. I've got that master cylinder rebuild kit. I've got to work here in about 10 minutes, so for now this is as far as we're going to get. We're going to take the master cylinder apart. This is under pressure, so I'll push on that. And, take this C-clip thing out. I think this should just pull out. Pulled the reservoir off. It was pretty stuck. You can see these rubber things it was into are pretty wrecked. This thing is real gross. It's got all kinds of like buildup of stuff. So I'll have to see if we can clean that out. Alright, so pulling this this piece out of here was pretty difficult. What I ended up doing was put this pair of vice grips on right here. We got another one of these in the rebuild kit, so I didn't really care if this one got marred, but I don't think it really did much to it. And it's scratched, but it's not a big deal. Anyway, clamped the vice grips on there, turned this upside down, whacked it with a rubber hammer, and then it pulled this out. So now we're getting into the parts where the rebuild kit will actually focus on. And I'll want to kind of clean this out some, and then you can see down in there is the second piston. It's this piece in the rebuild kit. This is that first piece where we put the vice grips. Okay, so to get the inside piston out, it's held in place by this pin. There's a hole there. How well this is going to pick up on the camera. Zoom in a bit. Okay, yeah. So this hole here is the one that the brake fluid comes out of. This larger one, this pin sits down in. And there's a channel in that second piston. Let's get this back out. Channel in that second piston there that that pin goes through that holds it in place. So what I did to get it out, it's under a lot of spring pressure, so I put this up inside there and then applied pressure, grabbed hold of the pin with these needle nose vice grips, and it just slid right out. And then you can reach down in here and pull the piston itself out of the cylinder. So there's all the parts removed, so now I just got to clean it up and clean it up real good, and then make sure there's no pitting in any of the critical areas inside and that kind of thing, and then we'll put it back together. Well, it's unfortunate, but this master cylinder is no good. It's kind of hard to pick up on the camera, but let's see if I turn it this way maybe. Up there you can see there's like a mirror finish inside most of it, except for, come on, focus. Focus, you know you want to. That little dark area right there behind that port, that's a bunch of pitting. I confirmed that by taking a wooden dowel and after scrubbing this thing out, I just poked the dowel back there and kind of felt along that area, and it is very rough. So this one's pitted out. I mean, if yours is good, assembly is just the opposite of how we took it apart, but this one's bad, so there's not really any need of rebuilding this. I'll just put it back together and take it to AutoZone or something and get a remanned one. Replace this brake line with the shiny new steel one. And we did the same thing around the other side. I know I originally said that I was going to just use those pads that were on there. That was also kind of when I was expecting to be installing some cheap Chinese rotors. But I got these instead. These are EBC. Good stuff. Due to what I presume is a pricing error, I got these on Amazon for 30 bucks. Hard to beat that. Pads are done. I mean, there's a little bit of life on them, but so I'll go ahead and order some of those as well. So I've got the master cylinder set up in the vise. Got the little plastic barbs already trimmed so that they fit nice and snug. Lines already set up and down in the reservoir, so I'll add some fluid and start bleeding. This master cylinder is kind of weird. You fill up the rear chamber and it slowly bleeds toward this front chamber, so I'm watching this level to make sure that it evens out across both. It's actually a little overfull right there, but he'll be okay. Alright, I don't see any more air in it, so I'll go ahead and cap it off. So my stupid old garbage camera ran out of batteries. I wasn't going to be able to film putting this on anyway because it's with one person it's pretty difficult. This nut, super easy, no problem. That one under there, right there, that one was a huge pain. I filled this up, which has already gone down a little bit from leaking down the lines, but you know, I'd filled this up all the way to max when it was being bench bled, and it had went down just a little bit, but not very much. So by the time I got that nut there on, it was sitting just barely above minimum. I lost that much fluid just trying to get that stupid line connected. Hopefully it didn't lose so much that it got air back in it again, but if it did, it did. It's just part of the fun of doing brakes. So I filled this up a little bit past max, and I'm just letting it kind of leak down into the brake lines. I'll keep topping this off ever so often until it stops leaking, and then we'll bleed each wheel.